You know, when I first started pig farming, I had big dreams. I wanted a farm that would grow fast, produce big, healthy pigs, and make me proud. And of course, make money. I thought I had everything figured out. I had the capital, the housing was ready, I had workers, and what I thought was a perfect plan. But what I didn't realize was that farming, especially pig farming, will humble you if you don't respect the process. And that's exactly what happened to me in my first year. I lost money, a lot of money. And I want to share my story with you, not to earn some sympathy, but because I want you to avoid the same mistakes I made. When I started my pig farm, I went big, too big. I invested millions, bought equipment, and stocked 50 pigs right from the start. Everything looked fine in the beginning. The pigs were growing, the workers seemed busy, and I felt like things were under control. But here's the truth, I wasn't there. I was running other businesses, and I only visited the farm once a week or whenever there was an emergency. And you know what they say, the eye of the owner is the fertilizer of the farm. Once that eye is missing, the farm starts to suffer. At first, everything looked okay from a distance, but slowly, problems started creeping in, and before I knew it, everything was falling apart. The first big mistake was lack of presence. I thought employing workers was enough. I trusted them completely and believed they would run the farm just as I would. But that's one of the worst assumptions a farmer can make. I would get calls while I was busy working and hear things like, "Sir, the pigs are broken out of their pens again," or "One of the pigs died." Sometimes I would rush to the farm only to see that pigs had fought each other. Some were injured or some dead, all because there wasn't enough supervision or proper management, and the workers took full advantage of my absence. They were stealing feed, wasting feed, and doing things carelessly because I wasn't around. I remember one day I went to the farm unannounced. When I got there, I was shocked. The pigs hadn't been fed that day, and it was already evening. The water drinkers were dry on an extremely hot day. Some pigs were panting. The pens were so hot you could feel the heat radiating. That day, I lost some pigs to heat stress, and it broke me. You see, starting big sounds nice, but only when you have the knowledge, the time, and the right system. I started with 50 pigs when I was still learning the ropes. Managing piglets, growers, and adults all at once became overwhelming. When they were small, everything seemed easy. They ate, they grew, and I felt proud. But when they matured, everything changed. Feeding, cleaning, sorting, treating, all of that became too much for the workers to undo, and I didn't have enough knowledge to guide them properly. Looking back now, I should have started small, maybe 10 or 15 pigs, to learn management, feeding, and disease control practically, then grow gradually. Because when you start big without structure, the mistakes also grow big, and that's exactly what happened to me. Another mistake I made was listening to too many people. Every farmer had advice for me. Some will say, "Feed them this, do this, and they will grow fast. Don't do that. My own method is better." And guess what? I tried almost all of them. Sometimes I would change feed formula suddenly. Other times I would introduce something new just because someone said it worked for them. My farm had no consistency, and pigs ate inconsistency in feeding, management, and environment. If I had stuck to one tested system and improved on it gradually, I would have saved myself a lot of losses. But I was all over the place, trying to combine everyone's advice, and that confusion reflected in my results. Now, despite all those mistakes, there was one thing I did very well, and that's record keeping. From day one, I recorded every expense: feed, drugs, labor, repairs, and everything. And you know what? That single habit saved me, because when I sat down to review my records, it helped me realize early that I was running at a loss even before selling the pigs. My feed costs, labor, and losses were eating deep into my capital. Without those records, I wouldn't have known what was happening until it would have been too late. That's why I always tell farmers now, even if you are not yet profitable, keep good records. It's the only way to know where your money is going and where your problem is coming from. By the end of that first year, I had lost more money than I ever imagined. Not because pig farming isn't profitable. It is, but because I didn't do it right. That year taught me the hardest lessons I've ever learned in business. It taught me that money doesn't run a farm. Presence and knowledge do. Workers need supervision, not just instructions. You can't manage pigs through phone calls. And no matter how big your dream is, You must first learn how to crawl before you try to run. It was painful, but that experience shaped me into the farmer I am today. So, here are some of the things I learned from that experience. Number one, start small and grow gradually. Learn before you expand. And secondly, be present. Even if you can't be there every day, make unannounced visits often. Thirdly, train your workers. Don't just employ them and hope they will figure it out on their own. Number four, feed wisely. Don't keep changing formulas because of random advices. And fifth, keep records. It's the mirror that shows you the truth of your farm. And lastly, build systems. Have rules for feeding, cleaning, and reporting, not assumptions. Once I applied these lessons, things turned around. I became more intentional, more disciplined, and more observant. And since then, my results have been completely different. If you are just starting out in pig farming, don't rush. Learn from my story. Start small, be consistent, and be present. Because no matter how much money you invest, the farm only grows when you grow with it. Now, tell me in the comments, what's one mistake you've made or seen in pig farming that taught you a big lesson? Let's share and learn together. And if this story helped you, don't forget to like, share, and follow for more real life lessons and practical pig farming tips that actually work. See you in the next one.